Welcome, everybody, to the F4 Hunger Awareness Show.
It's my goal to feed 1 billion people before I die.
We want to bring awareness around the issue of hunger and food insecurity.
7 to 8 million people served so far. With the sole goal of eradicating world hunger by connecting sources of food to recipients in need. Fiorenza's Food for Friends.
Hi, Derek Fiorenza here on the F4 Hunger Awareness Show. And today I have a very special guest, Dr. Rita Patel Eng. Dr. Rita is the Senior Director of Community Engagement and Social Impact at Westchester University. Here's her background. She provides strategic leadership and planning, program and policy development, and compliance assessment for SESI. Dr. Patel Eng is a proud Golden Ram and holds a doctoral degree in policy, planning, and administration in higher education and a certificate in higher education and student affairs policy from Westchester. She received her MS in technological systems management and BS in biology and secondary science teaching certification at Stony Brook University in New York. You're very accomplished.
Thank you.
Rita has been involved in kindergarten through college education for over 30 years. Her career includes time at Immaculata University, not too far from Westchester, teaching full-time, which integrated service learning through the Chester County Food Bank and the College of New Jersey, that's cool, and managing several grant-funded projects. She joined Westchester University in 2016 and has worked in various student support roles on campus, working with undergraduate and graduate student populations, faculty and staff, and campus partners to coordinate student success initiatives. Dr. Patel, welcome to the F4 Hunger Awareness Show.
Thank you. Thank you, Derek. Thanks for having me.
This is a long time coming because we met last year. We'll probably talk a little bit about the internship program, but we met through the internship program. We had a nice conversation around the work that you're doing with the food pantry on campus. But before we kind of jump into that, you're a lifelong learner and you've given back so much of your time, your life, and energy to teaching. What led you down the path of education and why are you so passionate about providing that education to others?
Well, I'll tell you, when I was doing my bachelor's degree, I think I had always wanted to be a doctor, like in the medical arena. And so I started off, I was in, when I was in high school, um, good student and all of that, or so I thought. I'm the best there is, right? You got to go to med school. And so when I started my bachelor's degree, I think my first year was sort of an awakening, an eye-opening type of thing. It was, I think, the adjustment to a university, being independent and all of those kinds of things. I ran into challenges, and there were academic challenges as well. And that sort of, I went to like an R1 SUNY Stony Brook at the time, and I think they just call it Stony Brook University now. Very competitive. My biology introductory class, there were 600 students.
Oh my gosh.
And so I think probably every single one wanted to be going to med school. So there's a heavy, heavy weed out process,
Yep.
is how it was. And so, eventually I loved biology, so I stayed with that, but I tried some other things out, and I landed and took an introductory education course, and I had a professor that was just very much so inspiring, and stepped into the classroom. She had us go first round, first few classes, and I really enjoyed that. Teaching others and seeing students' faces light up as they learned more, and that curiosity and that energy. So I think that's how I sort of got into education, and I think overall I just I thrive when people can learn something new figure out their passion, if
Mm,
you will. Over the years, I've worked with such a gamut of, from young students to college age students, but trying to help them, like supporting them as they are figuring out their their what they're good at, right? I call it like everyone comes here with,
mm,
you're born with a talent, you're
mm,
born with that special magical something.
mm.
And if we can help someone figure out what that is, you can change lives, that. And yeah, I think if that makes sense.
Are you still passionate about biology?
I'm very much so passionate about biology. I love to like just new things you see here in the news, right? Like new technologies and whatnot. My master's degree is actually something called technological systems management, and
Okay.
it's more of a looking at systems. In biology, is very much so the earth system, right? And when you just look from the top above and then you go down, it's all systems and how things interact and whatnot. And my brain actually works in looking at the whole picture and
Hmm.
how it makes connections with how these things are related and interrelated. So I think it's just that natural process of. But yes, I love my first job actually out of college was just sort of I think it was like a 6 or 8 week camp, and it was in Long Island. And so there's an island called Shelter Island, and I was like an environmental educator on that little island in between the two forks. And it was great. Students would come for staying over 2 nights overnight, and we would do environmental education using talking about the tides and nature and trees and how all these things are interrelated. So yes, I definitely garden, plants, all those things, very very passionate about that.
Do you have a garden yourself?
I had a garden myself. My husband was kind enough to build two raised bed gardens.
Raised beds, yeah.
Yeah, and then I had a neighbor who had a dog, and
Oh, geez.
so I never had any sort of deer or anything get at my garden while she was alive. But when the dog passed away, unfortunately, the deer came.
Ah,
I put a fence around it, and that was good. That was fine. But then the groundhogs, they would kind of just lift up and find a way in, and they would take bites from tomatoes. And so I'm like, can't you just choose one tomato? I don't mind sharing, but 4 or 5. And then I kind of gave up on it. I have a big deck, and it's gated.
okay.
So I just use big pots, and I have a lot of herbs. I currently, actually, during COVID, I discovered an organic farm that was not too
Oh,
far away from my house. And I can choose, like they have a little farmhouse that you choose your number of items that you CSA share that you
yep.
sign up for. But they also have the farm area, they have a you pick it. So in June, I can pick my own blueberries, and then you move to tomatoes and peppers and herbs and flowers. It's just like it's like a very grounding thing for me. And I think it also emanates from my childhood, that the whole going to the market with my I grew up, I came here when I was 8 from India.
Oh,
And
wow.
when I was little, my one of my grandfathers who was close to me, he was very passionate about that garden piece. But I remember holding his hand, and we would go to the market because at that time you didn't have refrigerators and things. And so you every day or every other day you would go to the market to pick out your fresh fruits and vegetables that you're going to use. But that was very, like, it's an imprinted thing on my brain. Like, I still remember we would go to the market, and he wanted to buy peas. So the peas come in a green shell for
Right.
anyone who doesn't know it. So you have to purchase those. So he would get one from different vendors selling peas. He would shuck it, and then he'd plop them in his mouth, a few, and then he'd give me two to like taste them. And he would taste, and whoever had the sweetest peas is the one who he would purchase it from. So
Oh
it was
my
really cool.
gosh. Oh my gosh. That's so neat. So that's so interesting. They didn't even have refrigerators. So now we're so spoiled we have refrigerators. You go to the market every couple days to get your fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, like if you're in the Caribbean, my roommate from college was from the Dominican Republic,
Yeah.
and one junior year, I think our winter break, we went there for a month, and we
Huh?
just stayed from relative to relative, and same deal. You know,
Wow.
the market kind of there's an area in town where the vendors come, and then you go there and get what you need for the day, and that's what you use. Yeah, I think there's a lot of the world. Europe, I think, is it's very popular for folks to shop, just a day or 2 days worth of fresh fruits and veggies and utilize that. I think our system, is just set up the way it's set up in America. But yeah,
Do you go back often to India?
I've only been back, believe it or not, I've been here for like 50 years
Wow.
at this
Wow.
point, but
Yeah.
I've only been back just 2 times.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I've never been there. Is it the climate like temperate? Is it hot? Depending
It's
where
hot.
you're at.
It's Yeah, it's one of the countries like any country like around the equator.
Uh-huh.
So I come more from the northwest part of India.
Okay.
So it gets like now it's their winter time. That's the time we would probably feel most comfortable, kind of like folks go to Arizona.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, so it gets a little cooler in the winter time where I came from, but southern India, it is pretty, it's probably in the summertime it gets very hot. Yes.
It's neat. You have those stories that left an indelible mark on you, and
Yeah.
you carry it with you to this day. What's that program that you mentioned in June where you pick your own
The
blueberries?
CSA,
Yeah,
farm
what is that?
CSAs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are like community shares. So a lot of farmers, and if you're in, I live in Chester County.
Yeah.
There are several that you can subscribe to where you can choose. They'll have half shares or full shares, and it's just a number of like the half share that I go to. I think it's like 7 items from what's available that week. And so you choose what you want to pick up in terms of vegetables. But I don't know how many, haven't heard a whole bunch that are the you pick it ones
Okay.
that are in combination. And so the one I go to is Two Gander Farm in Downingtown. And yeah, like I said, I've been going there for 5 years, but there's some other ones around. We're in an area where there are several that you can join, the CSAs that you can join to get that.
And it's really fresh, the food you're getting there.
It is Derek, when I tell you the fresh is you can taste the difference
Wow.
in your food. I mean, when I get onions or potatoes or
Yep.
whatever,
Yep.
and I bring it home, and if I cook it that day, you can just like when CSA is not in, like soon they'll kind of end. They have a fall one and then they end in December. So from January till May, there's no CSA.
Bummer.
So if I have to buy those items from the store,
You can tell.
it's like, oh, when is this gonna, yeah. And then there is nothing like the magic of a fresh like heirloom tomato or any tomato, and the you pick it, the you pick it has the small, all these different tomatoes, yellow and orange and just shades of things, and you're just popping them.
Where
They're
do
so
they get them from? Local farms work together? How does it, like they all contribute to it, or is it just one farm?
No, this one is just this one farm. I think it's the land that they're on is part of the Brandywine Conservancy or
Okay.
Conservatory, and they are on that land doing the farm. And I believe they actually also work with Chester County Food Bank. Like they've given 2 acres of that land for Chester County Food Bank to grow food for folks as well. So, yep,
This
there they
this is
are.
the link, so we can. I'm pulling it
Yeah,
up for those that are going to be following the video.
yeah,
Right there in Downingtown. That's so cool. 20
yeah,
acre
right off of Buck Road.
off of
Yeah,
Buck Road. Family operated produce, high quality USDA certified organic vegetables, herbs, and flowers for our CSA farm memberships. Community supported agriculture. That is so cool.
yeah. Yeah, so you pay, it's sort of like going in with having it's a customer to farm relationship, but you get to know the family that's doing this, and so you're paying them in advance type
Yeah.
of thing. You can pay them in I guess make payments, or you can pay them all together, but it's a shared, that there it is, there's shared risk and shared reward piece, so that if we were to have a drought, right, like
Hmm.
you're not, if they're not gonna have as much stuff, that you're not going to have as much stuff. So it's a risk, but it's local, right? Like when I hear on the news, there's a, recall on the lettuce for this or that or the other thing. I don't really, this is where I go. And, yeah, it works for us. So,
That's
you
so
know,
cool. And it's good for
yeah,
the farms too.
yeah, yeah.
That's so neat. Well, I wanted to pivot a little bit and talk about what you do now and learn a
Sure.
little bit about your background. But what are you currently doing?
So currently, as the senior director for our community engagement and social impact office, we have we're doing community engagement in the community. So we have the civic engagement piece, where we support voter engagement on campus with our students. That's one piece of what we do. The other piece is, if you click on that students piece, we have something called our RAMCOR program. So I think you had a student that worked with your organization a couple years ago, and we place students who have an interest in volunteering off campus with nonprofit organizations. So they're kind of like internships, but if a student is work study eligible, they can earn their money working off campus and learning about the nonprofit side of things. So we have students, for example, placed, and I'll give you one example, at Safe Harbor. We have several
Hmm.
students, and Safe Harbor is the homeless shelter in Westchester. And so the students are doing different types of things depending on their major. They will work with the organization in a different arena. And this is sort of the deeper engagement that happens in learning about the community and work with the community. It's long-term work. So it's not just, you're going in, you're volunteering, you bring some food to the food pantry, it's a one and done type of thing. It's a deeper engagement piece to really understand. And we work with the students, we have workshops with the students, and then we have monthly meetings, and what we call in community engaged learning arena, we engage students in reflective thinking, reflecting practices, and to really understand how we make impact and social change, social justice issues through our work in the community. So we have, I can say, like, we have the resource pantry through our department. We run our resource pantry for Westchester University for students to come in who may be food insecure, need food, personal care items, and they can come and get those. And it's free service to all of our students who may need it. And that is sort of our example of how we engage within our community here in an impactful way. I think a lot of folks may not know that students that are coming to college today, there's this basic needs that we call things like food, things like transportation. It could be childcare, and there's several others. And so they're challenged. They're working a job, two jobs, sometimes three jobs, and so making ends meet, it can be tough for them. Uh, Housing is a huge issue for many of our students, right? We have students that we learn they sleep in their cars, or they have no place to sleep because it's so expensive to live in this community
Hmm.
for a college student, but they're getting an education. And so, um, we try to support them by by providing them with some of these basic needs essentially.
It goes a long way, and we can see here on the website that there are a lot of personal care items too. It's not just food. You're doing all
Yeah,
kinds
those are
of
expensive. Those
very.
personal care items are expensive. And we actually, the money that we do receive, so we are a 501(c)(3) organization. We get funding from we're donation run essentially. And through our Westchester University Foundation, the funding that does come in, a lot of that we use to purchase the personal care items because we are partners with the Chester County Food Bank. We're also partner with the Westchester Food Cupboard.
Mhm.
And the increase in need over the last since COVID essentially has just every year we're just it's a graph that's going like this essentially, and
The need is going up, you're saying.
the need is going up. And I mean, I can give you some statistics, right? I can give you some data as to, for example, I in prep for this, I ran some numbers. And so as of yesterday, we actually opened our pantry 1 week later than we normally would the first day of classes this year. But since then to yesterday, we have had 843 students, that's unique students, come visit our pantry 3,594 times.
Oh my gosh, say those numbers again.
843 students, those are
Okay.
unique students, visiting us 3,594 times.
And that's over the course of how long, Dr.
That's been
Patel?
about 10 weeks or so.
Oh my God. So you've had over 3,000 visitors in 10 weeks?
Yes. Yeah.
So you're
And to
getting
give
over
you a
300 visitors a
perspective,
week. Is that common to get over 300 visitors a week?
so this week has been with the SNAP benefits ending. On Monday, we saw 135 students come through our pantry in a single day. That was our record.
In
Tuesday,
one
we
day,
had
135 people. Wow.
yeah, we had 105 on Tuesday. We had 111 on Wednesday.
Wow.
So
So you're already over 300 through Wednesday.
yep, yep, yep. So
So,
we are, those are on, numbers. So to give you a perspective, the
yeah.
entire fall semester, our entire 15 or 16 weeks last fall, 2024, we saw 776 unique students who visited us, I believe 2,500, 3,500 times or so, approximately. So our numbers are just,
Staggering.
we're gonna be, yeah, they are staggering. And we used to procure from the Chester County Food Bank. We would procure one. Still procure once a week,
Hmm.
and then the Westchester Food Cupboard. We work with the Unitarian Congregation of Westchester. They
Hmm.
have volunteers that pick up the food from Westchester Food Cupboard and they deliver it to us. And we were doing that once a week on Thursdays. This fall, we increased that to Mondays and Thursdays. So we're getting food from them twice a week. And then we have the last few weeks, we've started to also on Wednesdays, we go shopping at Aldi and purchase, butter, cream cheese, and those kinds of things. But yeah, that's supplementation. So we're shopping 4 days, 4 days a week. We're getting food in. And one of the, things like we have overall on campus space is just is prime. We're challenged with space issues, and so the pantry moved here in the space we're in 2016. And in 2016, I think we had 44 students use the pantry in the entire year. So we have
How many was it?
grown
How many was it?
44 students, I believe. I think that was
Okay.
the statistics
That
that
was the first year.
that was the first year where the pantry was, yeah, was what existed. So yeah, I think.
And this semester alone, you've already seen over 3,000 visits, 800.
Yeah, we're today. I mean, I haven't included today's statistics, so I mean, we're gonna be over 3,600 for sure. I know that for a
through
fact
through
because I
10
know the
through 10
pantry's open
weeks.
now
Through
and
10
students have
weeks.
come through.
Through 10 weeks. Wow.
Yeah,
And how
yeah.
many weeks are in the semester, Dr. Patel?
15 weeks semesters, not including finals week, I believe.
So you have
So
5 weeks to go still.
yes, we do. Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you might wind up with what, 3,600? You might wind up with over 5,000.
correct. That is correct.
And when you started out, you only had 44 visits.
Well, that's the visits, 44 students. So we are at 843 students
Okay.
using the pantry.
How often can students come? Can they come like multiple times in a week?
They can come, they can shop every day. So our pantry is set up where we have a system of we allow them to get one egg, a dozen eggs. So we do have limits on certain items
Yeah.
depending on what the item is. And then our personal care area, we give every student, like they get 16 points that resets every week. So there's some, depending on what their need is, they can purchase, they're not purchasing anything. I mean, they can take
Apply
what
the
they
credit.
need,
Yeah.
but they have a point system essentially. If it's a big bottle of shampoo, that has more credits. And then, if it's a small sample size, it's less credits, but they can mix and match what their need is. So paper towels, toilet paper, paper towels just whoosh, they're out as soon as they come in.
Yeah.
Laundry pods. There are two items that we do provide. They're menstrual supplies and diapers for our parenting students,
Hmm.
which we do not have points on. They can take as much as they need. But yes,
Is
they come
that
in.
is that a huge incidence on campus? A lot of parenting students?
We have more parenting students than we have had in the past. And
Wow.
that's one of the other demographics of higher education, that population of students. Like traditionally, we think about, right out of high school,
Right.
the 18 to,
Exactly.
but the current demographics of students, the population, there's a lot of working students who are working, older adults that are working that will decide to go to get an education, and so we do have a varied population and demographic of students than we used to.
Is
That
this is this available to commuting students also?
Yes, absolutely. Any student that attends Westchester University, commuter student, undergrads, graduate students, yep,
Wow.
yeah.
That's so wild. So obviously people are starting to take note of it. I don't know how many students are at Westchester. You said you have 800 some that are on this program. How many students are at Westchester, do you know?
We have 17,000 students.
Oh,
17.
about 10%, a little more than 10%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we had a survey that we did, we conducted with Hope Center for Basic Needs, for student needs, at Temple University. They're a big, they do research, they have policy, they have support for higher education institutions, for around student needs, insecurity. And we had, I don't want to give you wrong numbers, so let me just, I think I have, um, we had about 14% of our population of students that responded to the survey,
Okay.
which is about 2,500 students. And in the world of higher ed, that is a statistically significant result, is what we call. So we can use that data to give us some insight into what's going on. And we had 47 of those students who took that survey, 47% of our students experienced at least one form of what we call basic need insecurity, which could include food, transportation, lack of um, childcare, internet access. Those are all forms of need security. So out of that, we had 30% of the students that indicated that they had experienced food insecurity in the past 30 days. So that is a third of the population of students that indicated that. And we had run the same survey in 2021, and that was a 10% jump. So we have a 20% indicated in 2021, and we had now have 30%. 33% of our students indicated that they had housing insecurity in the previous year. 9% indicated that they had experienced homelessness in the
Mm.
past year. Um, 39% indicated they could not afford to eat a balanced meal, and 32% worried about running out of food before they had money to buy more.
How many
So
were in this survey again, Dr. Patel?
this is the Hope Center survey. I don't, if you're looking for it on our
No,
website,
I'm
I
not.
don't
I was
have.
asking how many people were surveyed.
Oh, we had, so we sent the survey to the entire student
Yep.
population,
Right.
but we had about 2,500 students that
2,500.
responded.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
So in that small sample size, there's pretty big numbers there.
Yes, there is. Yep. Yep.
Do you
And
think,
we're not alone. These are not numbers that are unique to Westchester University. Temple, there are many higher education institutions in the state of PA, where they partner with the Hope Center, and we have similar data that's showing on other higher ed campuses. Our resource pantry, for example, also is not, Temple has a food pantry. If you look in the area, you will find many of the colleges and universities have resource pantries, food pantries, to help support this food insecurity need on our campus. So on just campuses all around. Yeah.
it's amazing that this resource is here, but it's sad that there is such a need
Yeah,
for
yeah. Well,
this.
and this year, like I said, we've just been hit harder this year than we have in the past, and I think that things are hard for people, right? Like
Right.
if I'm a college student, and I've worked in several different areas on campus, but we have students who are working a couple of jobs,
Right.
and when we think about why do students go to college, it's usually for some getting a degree and graduating, right? And most students who don't have to worry about any of the other these external factors, they may be able to just go to college, go to classes, hang out with friends, make friends, right? Like that's usually what people associate with that college experience. But we have a lot of students here that are first gen students, meaning they're first generation. They're the first in their family
That's great.
to go into college and try to attain a degree. So they don't have necessarily that support of a parent to give them, hey, when I was in college, this is what do here, take this class, here's how you navigate this. So we have first gen students, and they come with unique challenges. But we also have a lot of students who are coming into college, and they may be working, like I said, a couple of jobs. And I've had students where when I was in the helping with the coaching part of it, if they weren't doing so well academically, I would say, well, what's holding, like we would talk about factors, right, that affect, like, why don't you have time to study for this exam that you can do better? And they'll be working one, two jobs, and like,
Mm.
well, I have to work this because I have to help my mom out. And they've got siblings at home. And so they're earning to help their family. And so college isn't their number one priority. They have these other priorities, right? And so if I'm a commuter student and I have a certain budget I'm living on, if my car has problems, if I get a flat tire, or something happens with the car, I do not have enough money to be able to pay for food and to get the car fixed.
Right.
So what do I do? And there's a story I had, the Westchester Food Cupboard.
Hmm.
um, we had a hunger rally a few weeks ago with Chester County Food Bank on the courthouse steps, and Rob had shared this story about he had two students that came to the Westchester Food Cupboard, and they said, "Oh, we didn't know that this was here."
Hmm.
They had been eating oatmeal for like 2 meals a day, just eating oatmeal because that was the cheapest thing. And then he told them that, you have a resource pantry on campus. Did you know about that? And they didn't know that we had a pantry on campus. And that's one of the other pieces of, like, students don't know that we exist as a resource. And so, like, how do we get that word out? And, like, one of the things that we do is we have pop-ups, pantry pop-ups, we call them,
Hmm.
on campus, where we partner with a group called Sharing Access.
Yep.
And they're a group out of Philadelphia, and we get produce, fresh fruits and vegetables essentially from them. And there's no sign up, there's no, there's no checking out of anything. It's just free food available to faculty, staff, and students. Because as much as our students, appreciate that and getting the word out that we exist and where we are on campus, we also have certain folks working on campus. There are certain, we have sort of a tiered system, right? Like a lot of our custodial staff can take advantage of getting that fresh produce and whatnot that we offer for those pop-ups. And we run those, once or twice a semester, and we'll have them on North Campus and South Campus to raise awareness and to get out there that we're there. We have staff members that will go out and also present in our classrooms to talk about the resource pantry and the type of work that we do as well to get word
Yep.
out.
To get the help. So for those that are listening that aren't watching the video, they can email the pantry directly, pantry@wcupa.edu,
Mhm.
and they can call 610-436-2378. 610-436-2378. And it looks like there's also ways to donate. So for those that are listening that want to support this,
Yeah, if you go up, we have, you can hold a drive. If you have an office, you can hold a pantry drive. If you email us, we'll send you sort of a flyer, make
yep.
it really easy for you.
Okay.
We have an Amazon wish list,
Yep.
and that takes you to Amazon directly.
Got it.
We switch out depending on our need. We
Okay.
will update that list pretty regularly, and we just got a big Amazon from someone on campus. Actually, it was a faculty member who had sent some things in, and that'll ship to us directly. Or you can drop things off. We're here from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock are our resource pantry hours. And I'll tell you a little bit, that picture that you
Yeah, let
that
me
you
go
saw.
back to, yep.
Yeah, so that is Dr. Jeannie Subak, and she is a nursing professor,
Oh, cool.
nutrition professor on our campus.
Nice.
And so we do work with our nutrition department. Um, in terms, like, they will make meals, like, and then they bring those to us to um, you know distribute to our students. And then sometimes we'll get certain kinds of things in from either donations or the food bank, and the students aren't sure what to do with that. So we and or excess. We had a ton of apples that came in last week, and so while we have fresh apples for students to take, they would spoil over a long-term period. So we sent them over to our nutrition department, and they'll make those. The nutrition students will get some practice in what they're making, or Jeannie will come up with a certain recipe for something. And I think we'll probably get back, because it's getting to the holiday season, some a little mini apple pies that the
That'd be
students can
good.
then partake in. But yeah,
Apples
so
are good for everything.
yeah,
Applesauce, apples with
absolutely. Yeah, we
peanut
had some
butter.
cans of salmon that came in,
Ooh.
and I don't think and they were the big ones, and
Oh,
so the
wow.
students are just like, I don't know what a college student does with a whole can of salmon. So we took them. They've taken them to the I keep saying nursing, to the nutrition lab, and they're gonna, I believe they're gonna make some salmon burgers out of
That
that, and
sounds
so
good.
then we'll put those out, and students can, you know, probably,
More relatable. They can
yeah, yeah,
connect to it.
yeah.
So if people can support by buying stuff off the Amazon wish list, they can actually drop off food. There's an accepted food items list
Mhm.
of non-perishable food items that someone could purchase. Fresh produce, there's a list of those items, and then there's personal care items. That's all on the website that we're looking at. And then I guess finally they can make financial contributions.
Yeah, through our Westchester University Foundation. That money comes from, through the Westchester University Foundation. You can make a donation. Um, and yeah, that page will take you to whatever gift amount, because the donations go through the foundation because they're the 501(c)(3). piece that comes through. Yeah, we've been pretty
And it's
lucky
tagged
in.
already. It looks like it's tagged.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
already, the
Okay, good.
pantry is already listed as where your donation will go, because
Perfect.
we have, yeah, there's a whole a lot of different
I can
areas.
imagine.
Yeah, yeah. So we've been part of, we are designated as a hunger-free campus by the state of PA Department of Education,
Okay.
and we've been able to secure what we call the Hunger-Free Campus Grant. So the last 3 years in a row, and that the funds from that grant have really helped us in the last 3 years to upgrade, everything from getting additional refrigerators and a freezer, so that we can stock more in our backstock area, because we didn't have any additional refrigerators or freezer in our backstock. And now we have the same complement of what's in our backstock and the pantry area. So we can store more and hold more so that we can, serve, help, service our students. And we've upgraded just like the software, because we use something called Pantry Soft. It's just an inventorying system and whatnot. So the Hunger Free Campus Grant has been great the last 3 years to offset some of the expenses that we get through donations. But we've been just, it's a harder year because there's obviously the governmental shutdown has affected us, but also we don't have a state budget in the state of Pennsylvania.
That's
And
not good.
that all, both those things affect.
Two problems. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, because the supplies are, hitting us as well. And then with the SNAP funding, that got cut, right, as well. The Chester County Food Bank, when there was that big beautiful bill piece that had happened, and essentially what ended up happening is that bill had emergency food assistance and worth, in the $500 million arena, and that was not included. So they essentially experienced a cut in $500 million in food assistance that would come. And so Chester County Food Bank is also, they're experiencing what we're experiencing on campus, they're experiencing on a larger level at the people in Chester County
Hmm.
that count on that food coming in. So they're seeing a huge increase as well. And it all roller balls, right? Like they're our partners, but they need donations to survive. And so if I, wherever you are, wherever you live, I would say if there's a pantry around, if there's a food bank that's around, and you can donate, I'm sure they'd be grateful for the donation, right? Because there are a lot
100%.
of people right now in need. And that need has increased as, with the government shutdown. Also, there's a lot of folks that work for the government, and times it's hard, right? You imagine if you did not receive a paycheck
Yep.
for week after week, those expenses, the rent, electricity, right? Like all your bills, and then food, and that's a necessity. Your food and a place to live are absolute necessities for you to just day to day to get by. And so, yeah, if you're able to help and there's so many great organizations out there that are helping. And in our case also, our campus community, our faculty, staff, they're stepping up. Um, we actually have a fundraiser. We have a limoncello, dine and donate on
Hmm.
Tuesday coming up, and so they're gonna donate back like 10% of their profits if they mention WCU Resource Pantry. And it's at both locations. They're participating at the Westchester location and the location up in Chester Springs. So we've been spreading the word for folks to order food. It could be online order or dining there. So
For
and
the
we're going to
dining.
do several of those as well.
For the dine and donate. That's great.
Yep. Mhm.
As we get ready to wrap up, just maybe if we could summarize these four pillars for Ceci, if you want to kind of go through them one more time, what the four pillars are.
Yeah, so I didn't actually talk about the community engaged learning courses. One of the other things we
Oh,
do on the academic side
okay.
is we have what we call community engaged learning courses, which are faculty are engaged with community partners on a whole semester long basis. And so the whole course is designed around how do we work with the community, and they may be a community project. So I think there's, for example, there's one professor working with the Westchester Food Cupboard, and they're looking at their management structure and how they manage their volunteers and whatnot. And so students are working in different groups to do some consulting and learning, and then maybe propose some improvements that they might be able to make, right? So that is that is another part of what we do, and there is a students can earn a certificate. We have a community engagement pathway certificate, and if they take 4 classes, they can earn that. And then we have just courses that students can take one-offs if they want to try that. So so yeah, if you go back to that
Yep.
4 pillars,
Back
I
to four
can
pillars.
certainly yeah, so voting is one of the pieces that we do on campus in terms of educating our students, and you know, how they vote, how to engage with some of the policies that, the things that are happening, I guess, in just understanding the educational piece of understanding why their vote matters, and whatnot. Our civic engagement opportunities are really that community engagement piece that I talked about.
Yep.
Our resource pantry is the exemplar of our what we give into the community, is to the university community. And yeah, our community engaged learning courses are for students who might want to do more, but in a class setting with others as well. So.
It's amazing. What do you hope your legacy is when you're done with your work? And what do you hope that the legacy of this department of Westchester University is when you're done with the work?
Ooh, that's a question. I mean, I guess, I hope that my hope is that I've affected or helped one student succeed, right? Supported them in some way where they've learned something, and they've graduate and they can have a better life. And a lot of times I would say, especially when we're working with our first gen students, they're the first one in.
Yeah.
And if they make it through, there are others behind them. Oftentimes they have siblings. So you're not just changing a student's life, but you're probably changing a family's life.
Beautiful.
So I hope that I've impacted lives somewhere. A life,
A life,
hopefully more.
multiple lives. Yeah.
Yep.
You have a beautiful
And the
heart.
legacy of this place, I mean, it's not just me. I have a team that is a fantastic team. And they're young, and so they will carry on the mission to do this work. It's very rewarding work, but it's also there are times when it's hard work, where it is emotionally, it takes a toll, because you're working with human beings that have challenges. And but it's, like I said, it's rewarding work, and there are very many good folks in my office that I hope will be at the helm when I'm no longer at the helm here. So.
Yeah. It's hard to be patient sometimes when you're trying so hard to help people and then you don't always see the progress that you want.
Yeah, and there are many, many challenges, right? Like that's the that's the other things that you don't have control over, um, around us as well. So.
And the challenges and problems are very complex and
Mhm.
the details are very nuanced, the differences, and it's harder. I think as you get older, it's harder to solve problems because you realize that it's not as simple as just putting this into this box and it's done. Because
True that.
pulling it from
True
somewhere
that.
else that impacts
But
something else.
yeah, well, and I always go back, like sometimes we complicate things. Like as we get older, we put we complicate things more sometimes than they
Yeah,
need to be,
probably true.
and we also we all come and have our own lived experience, and
Yes.
folks need to try to understand and listen to others and
Mm.
what their need may be versus what we make assumptions as to, here's what you need food, here, let me give this to you, but do I eat that food? Do I have an allergy to that food? Like, you need to listen to others,
Right.
because we are different, we have different lived experiences, and we need to respect that as human beings. And I think that the world would be a kinder place if we could, listen more to one another, because there are very many similarities, things we have in common, live and let live, than we do that are so many, differences that divide us, right? It's a whole world. It is not just this one pocket of a country. It's a whole world, and we have to try to understand that.
It's a beautiful message to wrap up on. I really appreciate you, Dr. Patel, taking time out of your busy schedule. I know that we were trying to connect for this since the spring and then the summer and then the fall, and between you and me, with our schedules in so many different directions, I'm glad we were able to find time. I do think that it's important that the awareness is spread so that more people know, specifically in Westchester's campus, that this is a resource that's there for them, that they don't have to sleep in their car, they don't have to eat oatmeal twice a day, they don't have to suffer in that capacity when there's people that are willing to help, there's resources that are available. So I hope
Absolutely.
that more people can become aware of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll keep on keeping on.
There you go.
Exactly.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, with that, I am Derek Fiorenza. Our guest today has been Dr. Patel, Westchester University, and we were talking about many issues today. Top of the list was food insecurity and how it's impacting students on campus. But the good news is, the positive news is there is this great resource with the student pantry to help those individuals that might be suffering or struggling. Don't worry about being concerned what others might think or not think. The service is there to help you. They'll be there to help you with love and kindness and warmth. So you're very much welcomed, and don't ever feel like you're not. So,
Absolutely. Yep.
all right, Dr. Patel, thank you for joining us today. For those that are listening, please subscribe and follow along on YouTube and Spotify and iTunes or wherever else you're listening to us. Thank you so much.
Take care.